Alcoholism. Let's get to the bottom of it. What's going on, Secoya Nation? Dr. Schilling bringing today's wellness wisdom. Thanks to our friend Yvette. And we're going to talk about Sarah's question here. So addiction, we talked about the last 2 days, talking about addiction in general, then marijuana. This is just another example. Basically, people trying to boost their dopamine, boost their brainwaves so they can not feel what's been uncomfortable in life. As a broad brushstroke, so please, before you sacrifice me to the gods of, you don't know how I feel. And the point is to say these are some underlying causes of what drives a person, some people, maybe you, maybe somebody else, toward this type of behavior, because we're all looking for a way to get our needs met, and sometimes it feels like a substance can help us with that. All that aside, we get the opportunity to serve people that deal with substance challenges, whether it's marijuana, alcohol, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is. We also want to meet them as a human being. You're not defined by this, nor is one of your friends. So if you start thinking about what's wrong with them, instead say, I wonder what happened to them. Or if it's you, say, what happened to me that my nervous system feels like it's safer in this mode, or something like that. Because whether it's COVID that changed people's access to other people, whether it's life stresses, divorce, it could be a house, it could be a job loss, it could be anything. These things can push us in a direction where we literally maybe haven't dealt with that stress before, so we don't have that coping mechanism, and we start leaning on something because it helps us take the edge off or helps us feel more confident or more self-assured, and then it just becomes a daily way of going through that. Just once again, if you have something you want us to talk about, please comment below, because thanks to Yvette and thanks to Sarah and thanks to a bunch of other people who have commented, we're giving you the information you desire to hear about rather than me just flapping my gums about something that I think would be beneficial for you to hear.
So what was Sarah's question?
Sarah's question was, what's the difference between alcoholism and someone who has strong, heavy use of it? Is that correct? So what's the line? I mean, you can look at the guidelines that say, a man can have 2 drinks per hour when a woman can have 1 drink per hour. And some people I've heard with participants and their spouses in the past, like, so I have a 12-pack at night. So there's a lot of other people that drink more than me. Like, okay. I think it's if you're drinking a 12-pack of beer a night, I would say you probably have an opportunity to improve your relationship with whatever your stress is in your life. Because if you need that many things to sedate that pain, then it must be pretty significant.
I think there's a difference between the intention
Absolutely.
behind.
For sure. Some people use it to, we're going to talk about it in a second here. Some people use it as a stress reliever. Some people use it as a social thing. Some people use it as, I'm getting my resveratrol from my wine. Like, whatever your justification is, if it is to sedate your pain, like, I can't handle this, so I need this, right? Thinking the third party, like, oh man, Dr. Schilling really needs a drink. that can be an unhealthy relationship. So as Anissa mentioned, it's about your intent. Like, what is your intent with approaching the level of consumption? And if you have a conversation with a loved one and say, hey, I'm concerned about you. Just genuinely, I love you. I'm concerned about you. It seems like you might be overly consuming. They might completely different opinion, but that's their prerogative. All you can do is speak your truth and share with them your feelings and what you want to see for them and how you want to love them and care about them. And you got to just let it go after that. Because, you can offer them support, but if they don't want it, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. So the framework of this concept is like, people want to forget. People want to think in the third party, like, oh, I just got to I worked so hard, I deserve a drink. Like, things like that. Or, because we're talking about alcohol, just keep it in that realm. They don't want to feel responsible. Like, something happened, or someone's pain in their life, and I just can't, my mom's struggling, I just can't deal with it. My wife's struggling, my kids are struggling. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to feel responsible for that, so they drink. They could feel a victim of circumstance, like they got in a car accident, they got fired from a job, they had someone cheated on them, whatever it might be, they feel a victim of that circumstance. Okay, that's one compartment, if you will. Another compartment is in the relationship between a child and their parents. It's been theorized by other people that if the child wants to get to the father, but it's like the mother is like this nebulous barricade between them, and the person has to navigate through their stubbornness and to get to their father or whatever like that. That's when it's like the psychology of it lends itself to, I need to, it's like the fire and water. It's like the mother's the fire and the alcohol's the water, and it just puts out the flames, and it's just this interesting dichotomy between how they're navigating those. But it can also be like, how do I bring my parents back together? And sometimes people unwittingly start drinking, and then that becomes galvanizing, I think is the word. It brings people back together, because then they rally around this person who's having the challenge, and then lo and behold, they try to save mom and dad, even though mom and dad are, going the opposite directions. But it's like a family with a broken home, and it's trying to mend that conflict, it's trying to heal that wound, and you can't heal other people. Sad to say, I mean, if it were easy, we'd all do it. Like, oh, just heal that person. We'd walk around like, Christ used to do, and as far as the Bible tells us, and stuff like that. So, if you want to think about it that way, it's like some people who drink, it's because they literally want to blame the alcohol for their inattentiveness to life, their lack of responsibility, and things like that. So as soon as they've been drinking, it's like they're no longer responsible. So it's like it's the drinking's problem, it's the alcohol problem, right? And again, this may not be relevant for you or your loved one, but it's relevant for some people out there. So I want to present this information so you feel confident in saying, oh, okay, so I've been wondering why, Bob or Susie have been dealing with this, and I've tried to understand it, what's been going on with them, but I haven't understand it. So these are some themes, some ideas that you can take and understand, and sort of overlay them on a person and say, oh, I wonder if this is what happened to them. I wonder if this is what's going on in their life. And it just helps you breed better understanding. Like, instead of criticizing, seek first to understand. Try to understand what's going on with their life. Ask them what's going on. Ask them what support looks like. Ask them what they've gone through, where they come from, what happened to them. They might have a story. Oh, yeah, man. Now you mentioned, like, I started drinking when I was like 12, and at that point, like a year earlier, my parents got divorced, and it was all, you might find an amazing story coming out of this, and they might be like, holy crap, you might liberate them by sharing this information with them. Quite literally, they might free with someone from their pain. So just encourage you to do that, to share it with your friends and family, repost it, send it off to somebody you think might be beneficial, might find it beneficial, because there's people out there that will benefit from this information. If you don't share it, you can make all the difference in someone's world. So please do that for their sake and for yours. Because you can be the difference maker in someone's life. So we encourage you to do that. We appreciate you doing that. And please comment below so we can know what topics you want next. We have a whole list going, which is great. We love it. So yeah, get on the email list if you're not on it. Subscribe to the channel. Help us spread the word. Help people understand the deeper meaning to the labels that are being placed on them. Because none of us are limited to a label unless we allow it to limit us. Okay, guys? So appreciate the opportunity to serve you, and we look forward to bringing you more information tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye-bye.